brought Kayla home, and you know, at that point it was really, you know, a little, I guess, challenging for us. We had never had 4 dogs. We've had 2. You know, Eileen grew up with dogs. I grew up with dogs.
We had 1 at a time when I was little.
We were used to having 2 from the 2 boxers we had, but 4 was a, you know, a bit of a challenge. The 2 biggest challenges, getting the dogs to settle in the house, especially at that time we were in a much smaller house, and you know, with 4 dogs, and you know, the back door for us was always an issue. You know, when people came in, the dogs charged the door. You know, so that was probably one of the biggest pet peeves that we had, especially Eileen had. And you know, the second would have been walking. You know, trying to walk 4 dogs at one time was always a challenge. You know,
that was one of the biggest, because we always, you know, we wanted to take them out, walk them around, and
sure,
it just looked, anybody watching us, it looked like the dogs were dragging us around, and it's not the image, you know.
When you're walking around with 4 pit bulls, you know, from Camden, it was, you know, we wanted to portray that, we wanted them to be able to portray how good they truly were. You know, I guess, you know, when you're working with 4 dogs with varied backgrounds, shelter dogs, you know, was a little bit of a challenge. You know, I mean, we had, you know, all the dogs that we had previously were, you know, we had them from pups, and you know, we trained them from pups, so it was a little bit easier, you know, as opposed to getting a 2, 3, or 4-year-old dog that had already had, you know, a learned behavior pattern.
But with that, they all responded, I would say, pretty much the same way to the commands.
Yeah, I was going to say amazing. It was very effective. You know, the sit, the sit, the stay, right. You know, sit, stay, lay, was very effective. You know, even to this day, they are, you know, on command. You know, even in a, you know, fairly excited state, you know, they will respond well.
I didn't say, but I think it's really important that it was something, one of the main reasons that I wanted to learn was feeding 4 dogs, especially adult dogs who are strong at one time, in a kitchen, you know, getting them to learn that they can't eat just because they hear the food bowl come out or the rustling, preventing them from eating instead of having them wait to be told they can eat.
Right.
And I think that's huge for anyone with 1 dog, 2 dogs, or 3 dogs, that the food is given to them, you know, when they can.
It was given to them, not taken from you. That was probably the one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I still, to this day, I tell people when they say, you know, you have 5 dogs, you know, they're blown away that we have 5. Oh yeah, we have 6 cats too, and you know, they're really kind of blown away by it. And you know, well, how did you do it and how did you manage it? You know, and you know, well, we did have a trainer come in, and we had a, you know, a structured program that worked very well and very quickly. You know, it didn't take long. You know, it wasn't a very long, drawn out thing. It was, you know, we took the program seriously, and we followed it, and I think it worked very well.
And the program's not just one time, so you don't have to learn everything in one sitting.
Right.
We learned in baby steps. It's like
the fact that we had a few different sessions, and you know,
and
had our homework to do. Right. And you know what, it was in addition to that, it was really great, you know, it kind of brought our family closer together as well. You know, we did it with the kids, and we had the kids help us with it, and you know, it was always it wasn't a chore to train the dogs. You know, it was more of a family event, so to speak, or you know, a good time. You know, and you know, we all having 11 animals. I guess you can tell we all have a pretty big heart. You know, had gone through a training program or, you know, something like that. For them to walk into our house and say, oh, you know, my dog, I have 1 dog, I have a lab, whatever, and you know, the dog jumps and the dog runs and the dog, you know, he doesn't walk well on a leash, and it's like, oh, well, we have 4 pit bulls that will sit and a 12-year-old can feed them. You know, I mean, it was really, like I said, that for me was probably one of the most impressive things. It was, you know, when you have a young child that can feed 4 dogs in one shot and they won't move until you say break. I mean, that was a really impressive, you know,